Tonight, a former Farmer of the Year is detained pending charges of attempted murder for shooting a police sergeant. We'll talk to his attorney. And a fatal shooting in Kamalote, but police can't say if it's murder or accidental. Also, the High Court finds that the Belizean law enforcement violated a 13-year-old's constitutional rights when they detained him under an SOE. Plus, we'll take you to St. Herman's Cave, where BTB and PACT are upgrading the tourist attraction. And who should be leading Belize's Jaguar and human conflict situations? We'll have all sides of the story. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Tuesday, March 17th, 2026. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize, knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
Compulsorily acquire Stake Bank Island.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
This government used its power to take land from a Belizean developer to give to a foreign company.
And those are things that the U.S. government takes really seriously.
Washington noticed. They've been watching. So when the Prime Minister went begging for help,
especially from the United States, we need equipment. We need intelligence.
But Washington's response? The United States invited 12 Central American and Caribbean heads of state to discuss border security. John Briceño was not invited. What does that tell you?
The U.S. is willing to sanction. They're willing to be aggressive and do whatever they can against these individuals who are taking these actions in these countries.
Secretary Rubio have the Department of State assess the current state of rule of law, judicial independence, and property rights protections in Belize.
$4.3 million was paid for legal and professional fees in relation to Petrocaribe. And another $4 million is projected to be spent every year for the next 3 years. $16 million in legal and professional advisory fees. What we done with Petrocaribe in 2016.
The government's blue bond carried another $85 million in transaction costs. That's tens of millions more in legal and advisory fees. So who's collecting?
Show those fees!
Exposed by Freedom of Information requests, the government admitted Courtney Coy LLP was paid $227,000 on just one disclosed contract. How many more are there? So while millions of dollars are being spent, the Prime Minister is begging Washington for help securing our borders.
It is important that we get the necessary assistance, especially from the United States. We need equipment. We need intelligence.
But there's no shortage of millions for legal and advisory services.
Who is getting those legal and professional advisory fees?
It's time to come clean, Mr. Prime Minister.
We have centralized systems of corruption in this government.
Fans are filling up the gyms to see exciting NEBL games. And this weekend, Week 5 showcase 3 mega matchups. On Friday night, the Belize City Defenders try to keep the Corozal Spartans winless with a must-win game to stay in the hunt for the 70K at the Belize Civic Center. Then on Saturday night, another mega showdown at the Belize Civic Center as the number 2 team, the Fighting Tiger Sharks, goes up against the rough and tough Dangriga Dream Ballers in a war. And in Cayo at the Victor Galvez Stadium, who run the West as the rolling Cayo Western Ballers goes up against the Belmopan Trojans. The NEBL Girls giveaways along with the National Sports Council halftime $5,000 shooting challenge. So this weekend, make it another NEBL weekend, sponsored by the Government of Belize.
En Atlantic Bank, tu comodidad es nuestra prioridad. Nuestro centro de contacto está diseñado para mejorar tu experiencia bancaria. Con una amplia gama de opciones de servicio al cliente, ahorras tiempo y esfuerzo. Puedes llamar fácilmente para bloquear o desbloquear tus tarjetas de débito y crédito, realizar consultas de cuentas y acceder a información detallada de tus tarjetas. Ya sea que necesites asistencia con la banca en línea, apoyo para comercios o consultas generales, nuestro equipo está listo para ayudarte. Para mayor comodidad, si todos los operadores están ocupados, puedes dejar tu número y un operador te devolverá la llamada lo antes posible para asegurarse de que recibas el apoyo que necesitas. Para mayor seguridad, es posible que necesitemos verificar tu identidad con un conjunto de preguntas sencillas. Recuerda, Atlantic Bank nunca solicitará tu nombre de tu usuario ni contraseña de Atlantic Online por llamada telefónica, mensaje de texto o correo electrónico, asegurando que tu información personal permanezca segura y protegida. Nuestro equipo de apoyo está disponible de lunes a viernes, de 8 a.m. a 6 p.m., en inglés y en español. Simplemente marca al 223-1212. Esta es la línea dedicada para nuestro centro de contacto. Atlantic Bank se compromete a brindarte un servicio excepcional y las herramientas que necesitas para administrar tus finanzas de manera conveniente y segura. Aprovecha al máximo nuestro servicio del centro de contacto.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Compulsorily acquire Stake Bank Island.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
This government used its power to take land from a Belizean developer to give to a foreign company.
And those are things that the U.S. government takes really seriously.
Washington noticed. They've been watching. So when the Prime Minister went begging for help,
Especially for the United States, we need equipment, we need intelligence.
But Washington's response? The United States invited 12 Central American and Caribbean heads of state to discuss border security. John Briceño was not invited. What does that tell you?
The U.S. is willing to sanction. They're willing to be aggressive and do whatever they can against these individuals who are taking these actions in these countries.
Secretary Rubio have the Department of State assess the current state of rule of law, judicial independence, and property rights protections in Belize.
Imagine, a ref calls a technical on LeBron, ejects him, then walks to the bench, puts on a jersey, and checks into the game to take LeBron's place. WTH? That's what happened at the central bank. First, Kareem Michael was a deputy governor for financial supervision, basically the referee for the banks. And while he was in charge of that department, Choice Banks' license was cancelled. Not too long after, Mr. Michael resigned from the central bank and went as a paid private contractor to run the shutdown of the same Choice Bank. When he was finished, he simply walked right back into his old job at the central bank. Who does that? An arrogant Belizean public servant who knows all and thinks he's too big for his judgment to be questioned by anyone.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your Nation Station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Tonight, a farmer from San Antonio Village is detained pending charges of attempted murder for allegedly shooting a cop, except Dan Lopez's attorney Brian Neal says his client didn't shoot Sergeant Dalton Kelly. It was actually police who did it while trying to wrest away Lopez's licensed weapon. We spoke to him outside San Ignacio Police Station an hour ago.
This is a portion of yesterday's heated exchange between farmer Dan Lopez and Police Sergeant Dalton Kelly.
What?
What are the reasons for up on the street?
Well, yes.
Listen to me. Our informer that going to commit the offense of loitering. Please leave. If you don't leave, I will arrest and charge.
And why the next car? Why the next car is in the street too?
I will tell you that you are loitering. You are doing nothing here. I will arrest and charge all of you if you don't move away. I give you 1 minute. No problem. I'll come back right now. Detain him. He's not the first one again.
Hey. Hey, relax yourself. Hey, relax yourself.
Hey.
Relax yourself. Hey, relax yourself. This thing will go to the media. Hey, relax yourself. Hey.
You relax.
Sometime after this, Sergeant Kelly was shot in the stomach. And so tonight, Lopez, who won Male Farmer of the Year in 2019, is in custody pending charges for the attempted murder of Sergeant Dalton Kelly. His attorney Brian Neal is claiming that it was another officer who shot Kelly and not his client.
We are at a state of affairs that is unacceptable. We are here because the police have acted in a way that is heavy-handed. We tried to bring this matter to the attention of the authorities weeks ago in an interview with Channel 7. We are grateful for that. But it seems that what we had tried to prevent has now occurred. From what I have been instructed, my client did not shoot anyone. My client did not draw his weapon. My client is a law-abiding citizen and had a license for that firearm. That firearm was withdrawn from his waist by a police officer, and in the course of withdrawing that weapon, the police shot another police officer. So now that he is being accused of this matter, we must confront it with the truth, and the truth is that this was at the hands of the police.
He further alleges that last night, police officers went into Lopez's home and police used a rock to break his foot, while his son also claims to have been abused by the cops. He is now calling on the Belize Police Department to do further investigation.
My reaction is that I am not surprised. I know how the police react in certain circumstances, especially when an allegation is made that a police officer was injured. But I am calling on the police to do a proper investigation, to interview all the witnesses that were on the scene, and if that is done, there will be no need to charge Mr. Lopez.
This all began on January 2nd, when Lopez allegedly pulled a firearm on the land manager, Julian Sherrard, and 2 forestry officers. When we asked Lopez about the January 2nd incident, he denied it. Did you shoot after Julian Sherrard?
No, in no time, and never have intention to shoot someone. Just try to take things peacefully because that's how my dad teach me.
But yesterday, Lopez was allegedly on Maya Ranch property again, this time with a bulldozer, claiming private land, and that's when he was confronted by the police officers. A police report says that when the police officers tried to arrest Lopez, he ran behind the vehicle with his gun, and it was when the police got into it with his father that he allegedly pulled a gun and shot the officer. It happened with one of his 3 licensed weapons.
The firearm in question is a licensed firearm that was handed back to Mr. Lopez after the previous incident about 3 months ago. So the police knew he had a firearm, and in trying to take away his firearm, they have now caused an injury to one of their own.
So Neal says police are the culprit, while police reports say it's the farmer who should expect charges to be brought shortly. For now, the owners of Maya Ranch Limited have allowed the farmers to harvest their crops, and most have left. But the Lopezes are insisting that the land will be theirs, no matter what it takes. Jaliza Roberts, 7 News.
And while at the police station this evening, another farmer was arrested for theft and trespassing.
So the job will be detained for theft and trespassing. Okay? Trespassing what, sir? You're being detained for trespassing and theft. You understand? Trespassing what, sir? When you reach there, the investigating officer will interview you and you will know more. Where? Like, I not know. I can go I'm placing you on arrest. You're under arrest. So what will you say? Don't resist. Don't resist us. You're going to find yourself in more trouble. You know,
The attorney was present when this occurred, and we will be following up as it progresses. There was a fatal shooting in Kamalote village late this afternoon, but at news time, police cannot say for sure whether it was murder or accidentally self-inflicted. The victim has since been identified as Andy Suazo. So far, police believe the fatal shooting was likely accidental, but they are still trying to piece together precisely what happened. We'll have more as it becomes available. More than a week after the Humilde Viajero fishing vessel loaded with diesel fuel came into Belize's waters, authorities have still not figured out what to do with it. As we have reported, the Panamanian-flagged vessel with a Colombian crew is under heavy scrutiny because the documents it has presented are reportedly fake. And additionally, the U.S. has taken high interest in it as a security concern. Last week, the chief environmental officer told us that the vessel did not follow the conditions for the importation of the fuel, including an import permit for fuel from us, which they did not do. Usually when that happens, fines are brought, the cargo is seized, and the matter is concluded. But for some reason, this case is being allowed to linger. The cargo is reportedly linked to a major fuel distributor. After the break, you'll hear why the High Court ruled that the state violated a 13-year-old's constitutional rights when it detained him under the SOE. And we'll take you to St. Herman's Cave, where VTV and PACT plan to turn it into a marquee attraction. Don't go away.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
When the job demands more, Milwaukee Power Tools are designed to handle the toughest jobs on the construction site. If it's speed, durability, and performance you need, Milwaukee is the perfect choice. For unstoppable power at an unbeatable price, make it Milwaukee. Nothing but heavy duty. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
My name is Mrs. Esther Smith. I'm a co-owner of A Glimpse of Paradise gift shop here at Altoona, booth number 13. And me and my husband have to offer some of the most finest wood products here in Belize, all hand done by him. And these products are made from some of the most beautiful, finest, and hardest wood here in our country. I first started at Atlantic Bank as, went there to start a saving account. From there, I have my checking account with the POS machine. And then it becomes more like a family to me because there are personnel from Atlantic Bank that will always come here, check with us, make sure everything is okay, clean our machine, and they will always ensure that we have bundles. My advice to anybody that wants to choose Atlantic Bank to be their bank is that don't be afraid. You won't have any regret. Atlantic Bank, you will find them to be very efficient, reliable, and competent.
Compulsorily acquire Stake Bank Island.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
This government used its power to take land from a Belizean developer to give to a foreign company.
And those are things that the U.S. government takes really seriously.
Washington noticed. They've been watching. So when the Prime Minister went begging for help,
especially for the United States, we need equipment, we need intelligence.
But Washington's response? The United States invited 12 Central American and Caribbean heads of state to discuss border security. John Briceño was not invited. What does that tell you?
The U.S. is willing to sanction. They're willing to be aggressive and do whatever they can against these individuals who are taking these actions in these countries.
Secretary Rubio have the Department of State assess the current state of rule of law, judicial independence, and property rights protections in Belize.
$4.3 million was paid for legal and professional fees in relation to Petrocaribe. And another $4 million is projected to be spent every year for the next 3 years. $16 million in legal and professional advisory fees. What we done with Petrocaribe in 2016.
The government's blue bond carried another $85 million in transaction costs. That's tens of millions more in legal and advisory fees. So who's collecting?
Show those fees!
Exposed by Freedom of Information requests, the government admitted Courtney Coy LLP was paid $227,000 on just one disclosed contract. How many more are there? So while millions of dollars are being spent, the Prime Minister is begging Washington for help securing our borders.
It is important that we get the necessary assistance, especially for the United States. We need equipment, we need intelligence.
But there's no shortage of millions for legal and advisory services.
Who is getting those legal and professional advisory fees?
It's time to come clean, Mr. Prime Minister.
We have centralized systems of corruption in this government.
Kite flying is fun, but it can also be dangerous. Fly kites safely by following these tips. Never use wire, metallic thread, or wire-reinforced strings. You could be electrocuted. Remember, even a safely built kite can cause a power outage if it gets caught in a power line. Always use paper, plastic, or wood to build kites. Never fly kites near power lines, in the path of traffic, aircrafts, or near highways. Always fly kites with a responsible adult in open areas, in dry weather, and with clear visibility. Never attempt to remove your kite from a power line. Always call BEL at 0800-235-2273 if your kite gets caught in a power line. Belize Electricity Limited. We care about your safety.
Champion security, champion security, champion security. Yeah. Your security is our business, so we gonna protect you like a champion, like a champion.
Guess what, Mr. Hanson? Yeah, over there, champion security. This is the place to be. What does sign say? Champion Security. Here at Champion Security, we provide quality service. You know why? Such as triology lock, fire alarm, IP camera system, gate operator, biometric lock, and alarm system. Champion Security. Make a go check out what they go on inside of Champion Security. And boy, nice to meet you, my brother. Yes. Tell me a little bit more about Champion Security.
Well, welcome, Mr. Hanson. Here at Champion Security, we offer fire system, alarm system, camera system, gate operator, access control, and also trilogy locks and magnetic locks. Everything you need to do with security systems for residential and businesses, you could find everything here at Champion Security. We also consist of 12 technicians, and we offer technical support 24 hours. So anything you need for your security systems, you could find everything here at Champion Security.
Remember, guys, here at Champion Security, we live by our motto, where your safe stay is our business. Give us a call now. Don't forget to check us on Facebook, Instagram, and all the social media platforms. And continue to shake it to the max all the way. Champion Security, the best place to be. We care for your safety.
You want to rent it? It's not a problem. We got remote gate.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
In July of 2024, a 13-year-old boy was rounded up by police in the state of emergency. At the time, the child's mother and the family's attorney, Leslie Mendez, sprang into action to try and get him out of the Wagner's youth facility. It took a few days, but the Ministry of Home Affairs agreed to remove the child from SOE detention. But the family didn't let it rest there. They went to court to challenge the emergency declaration, his detention, and the conditions of his detention. And now the High Court has made a pronouncement on the matter. On March 2nd, Justice Marsha Alexander handed down her decision in which the child's mother partially succeeded in her claim. The judge found the detention was unconstitutional. The family's attorney, Leslie Mendez, spoke to us about it via Zoom.
The court determined that he was detained under inhumane and cruel conditions. And the reasons for that is that the court strongly chastised that the child was not given access to his family for an inordinate amount of time, considering that he's a 13-year-old in detention, the Wagner's facility, in conditions that are quite similar or definitely not at all different in real terms, in practical terms, to a prison, right, to adult prison. There were multiple occasions where access to an attorney and access to his family was denied. And when we explored the conditions under which he was actually detained, he was detained under conditions similar to solitary confinement. He was allowed recess or recreation for about an hour. And other than that, he was just placed in a cell the entire time that he was there. The court found that the cumulative effect of all of these factors, in addition to the fact that the tribunal that was to review his detention was not set up until about over 2 months after, the court found that these conditions were unduly restrictive and that they did amount to a breach of his right to protection against inhumane treatment.
And while the judge did find that there were breaches, she only awarded damages in the amount of $18,000. We asked Mendez about that.
You know, with the greatest of respect, I do think that the damages that were awarded were too modest for us to be able to really secure those objectives with respect to that we want damages, right? Like what is the purpose of damages? I think that they're quite modest. But as I said, we are exploring right now an appeal on the other issues that I also think are equally important. Specifically, the decision to detain child in the context of emergency powers, where you know that there are certain restrictions, and when you know and you have accepted by your ratification of the Convention of the Rights of the Child that confinement involving children is to be of last resort. So we definitely want to seek guidance from the higher court as to how really should our authorities be treating with these two principles that come into tension with one another, and how do we secure truly the rights of the child in this country.
We'll let you know if the family decides to proceed with an appeal. And while the state will have to pay damages, the police argument has always been that this particular 13-year-old was active in gangs and was allegedly chasing someone with a firearm only days before he was swept up in an SOE. We asked Mendez about that.
So the criticism will be that it a bad picnic, and he's out there in the criminal circle of adults, so he has to be penalized along with the adults.
The allegation is that he's a bad boy.
The allegation is that he's a bad boy, and so if you want to play a bad boy, you're going to jail with the bad man there.
I understand that as an instinctual and emotional response or an evaluation of a situation, right? I appreciate But the legal principles that have been developed have been developed to ensure that we're not only acting on our emotional evaluation of crime and of tensions in society. And what the law says is that children, for a myriad of reasons, have to be treated differently from adults. That's not to say that they are immune to consequence. No, the meaning of that is that when we treat them with a concern for repair, concern for rehabilitation, and a concern for prevention.
And police actions could find the state liable for another award in a claim that has recently been filed also by Mendez. It arises from the shooting of mentally ill man Emil Rivers in January of 2025. He is taking the government of Belize to court, alleging that he was shot by the cops while suffering a mental health crisis. The lawsuit filed just this week claims the treatment of Emil Amar Rivers was cruel and inhumane and a direct violation of his constitutional rights. According to court documents, Rivers, who suffers from paranoia and psychosis, was detained by officers at the Independence Village police station without legal justification. While in custody, he was allegedly forced to strip to his boxers and sleep on a cold floor without medical attention. The situation escalated the following morning when Rivers, experiencing an acute psychotic episode, ran from officers. PC Sheldon Arzu shot Rivers twice, one in the abdomen and once in the back, despite Rivers presenting no real and imminent threat. Even while recovering at the Western Regional Hospital, the claim alleges he was subjected to gratuitous cruelty, including being kept in tight handcuffs. Through his mother, Marlene Rivers, Rivers is seeking damages for assault and battery, as well as declarations that his rights to human dignity and equality before the law were breached. We will continue to follow this case as it heads to the High Court. The respondents are the Attorney General of Belize, PC Sheldon Arzu, and the Commissioner of Police. It's a combined effort between tourism and conservationists. They have joined forces to enhance and ensure the continuous preservation of 3 select protected areas in Belize. Today, we took a site tour of one of those areas and learned more about what BTB and PAC hope to achieve in improving this tourist site. Jo Marie Lanza has this story.
Belize's protected areas like reefs, caves, and jungles are a magnet for tourists who want to experience an adventure for themselves, booking hikes and tours for the day at an attraction of their choice. PACT views this as a potential opportunity for tourism and conservation to partner for the improvement of these protected areas and sites, ensuring a prime visitor experience for guests and an attraction with all the amenities.
So we're actually doing a site visit at one of our participants under a recently launched program called the Tourism Enhancement and Protected Areas Program. It's a program jointly being done between the Protected Areas Conservation Trust and the Belize Tourism Board in conjunction with the Ministries of Tourism and Sustainable Development. So the idea behind this program is to look at protected areas. We know that majority of our tourists that come to Belize, I would say about 70% or more of them visit a protected area during their visit. So it's a very important aspect of our tourism offer. And our protected areas recognize also that tourism is an important element of their sustainable financial health. And so we decided to, about 2 years ago, to begin designing a program that would bring both worlds together. Naturally, conservation and tourism are symbiotic in Belize. I mean, PAC exists because of the relationship we have with tourism. For every tourist that visits Belize, $7.50 comes to PAC so that we can then reinvest into protected areas. So we are joint at the hip, but we also recognize that we need to work a little bit more closer to ensure that the product itself is at a high level and can receive the type of business that we want to see.
St. Herman's Blue Hole National Park, along with Turnoff Atoll and 1,000 Foot Falls, are 3 of these selected sites chosen to be a part of this program. But at times, at these sites, the attraction and tour is all there is to experience, and visitors are unable to find a restaurant or food stall for miles.
So this program is going to be initially for 2 to 3 years, and we decided in designing it that we would do various cohorts because different protected areas are at different levels of tourism development. Some of them have been doing it for years, like here at St. Herman's, and there are others that still are figuring out. So we're starting with the ones that have evolved a lot more over time. And so we have 3 participants under what we call Cohort 1 that will be receiving some funding to develop their tourism product. So the idea behind it is, not only to look at visitor facilities like trails and restrooms and stuff like that, but we are trying to push and challenge our protected areas managers to also look at the commercial aspect of things. Can we develop concessions within the protected areas? So a lot of the times, like here, we go on the trails, we visit the caves, but after that, what do we do? So wouldn't it be nice to have some food and some beverage, to drink a nice coffee here or have a nice dessert? And so those are some of the elements that we are challenging this first cohort to see how much they can implement and integrate within their programs.
Sites like St. Herman's are in need of infrastructural upgrades at the visitor center and parking lot.
So this project focuses on having the community participating, also developing infrastructures within the protected area, which would include the upgrading of our restrooms, bathrooms, the changing rooms, improving our gift shop area, and also expanding our parking lot. So one of the issues or challenges that we do have is that throughout the year, on given busy days, we do have several visitors within the park, and the parking area gets congested, and part of this project would help to alleviate or ease this congested area.
BTB sees the value of this investment and partnership with entities like PAC, and they already have a few ideas in the pipeline on how they can improve the visitor experience at St. Herman's.
A lot of the experiences that visitors come here for is happening right here within these protected areas. So, from birding or hiking here at St. Herman's Blue Caves to like snorkeling and diving at Turnef. So it has to do conservation and tourism. They work hand in hand, and by us investing in these protected areas, we're able to protect and, enhance our natural resources that attract tourists to Belize. So this particular site, we're definitely looking at the upgrades of the trails, that will give better guest experience. They'll feel safer on the trails if we have more elevated and enhanced trails. We're also looking at the parking lot. It's a bit small right now, but once we expand, then it will have more room for more, vans to come in and people to park safely so they don't have to park on the highway.
Reporting for Channel 7, Jomari Lanza.
The other 2 sites are the 1,000-Foot Falls and Turnef Atoll. The Finstein Group, which is battling to get back Stake Bank Island after it was acquired by the government, has launched a new salvo against the Briceño administration in the U.S. Their U.S. publicist, Jose Malia, has appeared on another political podcast, this one called The Game, where he discusses what prompted U.S. Congressman Brian J. Mast to write to Secretary of State Marco Rubio asking him to take a closer look at Belize.
I actually work with the family that was the original owner of that cruise port, the Feinstein family, who was building a facility with the best interests of the peoples of Belize at heart, to bring tourism, to bring jobs. And so all of a sudden, partnership with a bank, Atlantic Bank, which is originally a Honduras-based bank, but has a big presence in Central America and in Belize, falling out, they reach a moment where there's a receivership executed, which they disagree with. But then there's an extra portion of land that the government of Belize acquires through compulsory acquisition, which is considered an expropriation. Now, when you do that, you're supposed to pay people for that. That has never happened, right? There's been no payment. When you're the United States government and you see these things happen, either because Americans are involved directly in being defrauded, or because the actions, these activities lead to the threatening a national security, potentially national security asset like a port, the government's going to react. So Chairman Mass, being very prudent, it has the possibility of potentially filing a bill, which is something that is still on the table, but decided that he was going to do the more direct thing and asked Secretary Rubio to look into it. And I hope that the State Department provides a thorough report, and I think they will. We've also met with the State Department.
And the government of Belize has gotten a U.S. congressman to write a letter supporting it, even if only in a very small sphere. A Florida congressman, Carlos A. Jimenez, wrote to PM Briceño saying, quote, "I want to personally commend the decisive leadership you and your government have shown in backing U.S. agricultural investments in Belize. Let's keep working together to ensure our hemisphere remains stable, prosperous, and energy independent." We should intervene when jaguar comes into conflict with humans. Well, we'll have all sides of this dispute after the break. Don't go away.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Compulsorily acquire Stake Bank Island.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
This government used its power to take land from a Belizean developer to give to a foreign company.
And those are things that the U.S. government takes really seriously.
Washington noticed. They've been watching. So when the Prime Minister went begging for help,
Especially for the United States, we need equipment, we need intelligence.
But Washington's response? The United States invited 12 Central American and Caribbean heads of state to discuss border security. John Briceño was not invited. What does that tell you?
The U.S. is willing to sanction. They're willing to be aggressive and do whatever they can against these individuals who are taking these actions in these countries.
Secretary Rubio have the Department of State assess the current state of rule of law, judicial independence, and property rights protections in Belize.
Imagine, a ref calls a technical on LeBron, ejects him, then walks to the bench, puts on a jersey, and checks into the game to take LeBron's place. WTH? That's what happened at the central bank. First, Kareem Michael was a deputy governor for financial supervision, basically the referee for the banks. And while he was in charge of that department, Choice Banks' license was cancelled. Not too long after, Mr. Michael resigned from the central bank and went as a paid private contractor to run the shutdown of the same Choice Bank. When he was finished, he simply walked right back into his old job at the central bank. Who does that? An arrogant Belizean public servant who knows all and thinks he's too big for his judgment to be questioned by anyone.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Yesterday, we showed you Henry the jaguar injured after his capture in Lemonal. Since Henry now has a broken canine, it is unlikely that he will be released into the wild. So does that mean he will end up at the zoo? Well, there's a good chance, since the zoo's human jaguar conflict program has saved the lives of 30 jaguars. Currently, there are about 4 jaguars at the zoo. Yesterday, we got to meet 2 of them who were causing chaos in Pine Hill and had to be rehabilitated. Today, they've settled into their enclosures where they can eat all the bite-sized chickens they want. But is this what Henry's future will be looking like? And why wasn't the zoo a part of his recapture? Courtney Menzies spoke to the director and has this story.
Before 2003, it is estimated that about 50 jaguars were being killed annually in Belize. These were jaguars who had made their way to populated areas and were killing pets and livestock. Then, in 2003, the founder of the zoo, Sharon Matola, proposed a solution.
The idea was to identify those cats that were causing conflict and assess their health. And if they were not fit to be in the wild, then house them at the zoo for the rest of their life. So make the zoo their forever home. And over the years, we have rescued about 30 jaguars from the wild. What we find out is that most of those cats were male jaguars. So male jaguars disperse much farther than females. A male jaguar on the lower end requires about 160 kilometers square for home range, but that can go as high as 500 square kilometers for home range. So male jaguars require much more space than female.
That's how these 2 jaguars, Edgar Hill and Ben, ended up at the zoo. They're both from Pine Hill, but Edgar came in 2013 after they realized he had glaucoma, which is why today he only has 1 eye. Ben had been hunted and was found with bullet fragments in his body back in 2021. Today, both of them are healthy and thriving, living past what their life expectancy would have been in the wild. And Henry, the conflict cat in Lemonal, was also picked up as part of this program.
Henry came on our radar back in April 2025. They reached out to us and we referred them to the Forest Department. Along with the Forest Department our staff went out and we set up some trail cameras to identify the culprit. In May, the incidents increased. And then in August, we worked together to remove the cat we know as Henry from the area known as Henry in the Stan Creek district. So that cat was trapped and brought here to the zoo for a health assessment. It was incorporated into the Forest Department Jaguar program. It was fitted with a collar and release. We have not had contact or involvement with the jaguar since.
The zoo was not a part of Henry's relocation, but as a male, he would have needed to be placed at least 500 square kilometers away from where humans are living. However, Potts explained that with the advancement in technology, the jaguar should have been able to be monitored as it was nearing the village.
GPS telemetry, you now have geofence where you can tell where your animal is, and if your animal come near any community, it pings you a message and tell you, hey, your jaguar, your puma is going near the community. That is where awareness get into play. You send out your education team, you make them alert the communities that a jaguar might be in this area, make sure you have your livestock locked up, make sure your chicken, your dogs are safe, right? So there is technology, and so what I know the Forest Department was doing was to assess how releasing some of these cats back into prime habitat area would work.
But Henry will likely not be re-released into the wild. And up until yesterday evening, the zoo was concerned about where he was being kept, especially since they had spent years developing the facilities needed to tend to conflict cats.
Over 20 years, we've learned a lot about jaguar behavior. We've also learned a lot. We've also improved our capacity here at the zoo. We invested heavily in facility to host these jaguars. If the visit we just had to the back show our centralized holding area where the jaguars are kept. It's safe for people, it's safe for the animals, and it serves as a holding area in the event these cats can be released back as well. It's away from the staff, only the zookeeper who work with them actually have access to them. The concern is from the video we saw, Henry has a broken canine, right? And with a broken canine, hunting might be a problem for that cat.
And Anre isn't the only jaguar the zoo has not been able to assist with. Pot told us that without an MOU from the government, they've been unable to conduct their work since last year.
So our challenge right now is that we don't have an official MOU with the forest department to work with conflict animals. We had a letter that was given to us back in 2003, and we have been acting on that letter basically to assist the forest department with this situation. Since August, we haven't been able to go out and work with the public who have reached out to us and asked for help with conflict situation. We're currently waiting on an MOU from the forest department.
Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
So is the zoo being blocked? Yesterday we spoke with the chief forest officer via Zoom, who explained why they weren't involved in Anri's recapture. John Pinello explained that CSFI, the Corozal Sustainable Future Initiatives, was more equipped to get to the location and handle the situation. He also added that the zoo is welcome to join the team, but as an equal and not a leader. Here's what he told us.
The zoo has a role to play with us in jaguar management if and when they want to be a part of it. I had a conversation with Mr. Pott this morning and I reiterated, I said, Celso, there's a spot for you guys to assist us, but we have to work as a team, Jules. We can't work independently and separately. And that is what I think the changes that we have made might make the zoo feel like they are sidestepped, but it is not. We have asked them to participate in even the last capture that we had. This one happened so quickly that the CSFI team was in Lemonal by 7 o'clock. I wasn't even awake yet. And they were already there reacting to the situation. And that is not because we want to boycott any one organization. They have their role to play, as I said. And as long as they're willing to play it in terms of the 3 organizations that do wildlife management, and I say 3 because the zoo is considered one of them, they will have a place in jaguar management.
But not an apex place, because the apex is reserved for CSFI.
No. There's not an apex. This is a tripartite arrangement. And this is the issue, Jules, that I don't want to continue propagating. There's no apex. There's no me come first, you come second, we come third. It is who can respond properly and who follows the jaguar protocol that we have. We have one of the very few jaguar capture teams in Central America, and the majority of the staff is from CSFI and Forest Department. They're trained in how to capture jaguars, and the proof is the capture that happened in 2 days.
But was Henri's injuries caused because of the cage the CSFI team used? Well, Pinello explained that they use the resources that they have.
But I can also say the proof is that the cat injured himself inside your brutish cage. Should you all not have used a cage that was outfitted with plywood so that the animal, I understand they're very powerful, but would have been less likely to harm itself.
Jules, I will send a quotation for a new cage to Channel 7 and see if you want to sponsor one for us. The cage that we have is the one that we could have afforded. It's made of sheet metal, and then the part that we put the bait in is made of expanded steel. And we use the side for sheet metal because we realize that the animal can injure itself. But when it goes into the very short section that has the bait, there is a possibility, yes, that it might hurt itself. I also have to make sure that I protect my officers when they are carrying this cage with a stressed, angry 120, 150-pound cat in it. And so, forgive me if my cage is not as accommodating as the Belize Zoo would like, but it is what we have and it is what works right now. We have a formal MOU that was signed between Forestry and the Forest Department and CSFI for the joint management and reaction to jaguar and jaguar situation because, as I said before, they have a majority of the jaguar capture team that was trained.
And did CSFI and the Forest Department make a good call with where they chose to relocate Henri the first time? We asked Pinelo.
I understand that jaguars roam, but we know this. These are known facts. You all put the jaguar in too small an area. That is a known fact.
It's not a known fact, Jules. It's a fact that you are trying to make. It's not a
It's
known
known
fact.
that these animals have
You're not a
large...
jaguar ecologist, Jules. You can't tell me that that's too small an area.
Well,
I
obviously
mean, we
it's
could
too
argue
small
this.
an area. It ended up in
Belize is too
Lebanon.
small an area if you want to say that. The country is too small, right? And that is why we try and put colors on them to track them.
This week is Belize Brain Awareness Week, and the Brain Awareness Society has put together a week of activities for the students at Grace Primary. Today, for Mental Wellness Day, we saw over 60 Standard 2 and 3 students get information on how to protect their mind.
We want them to be well-rounded when it comes to anything, knowledge about their brain. So with mental wellness, we know that especially since their brain is growing and they're questioning certain things and certain feelings, it will help them to understand certain vibrations that they may have, whereby now they can see now that, okay, I feel this way, I have this type of feeling, so now they can put a name to what they have, and we can take it from there. We bring them little prizes, and then we ask them questions after, and they, man, it's amazing. Even yesterday when we had Dr. Markle, and he was asking the question about who wanted to be neurologists, how long it takes them to, they could have answered right on the spot. We got so many hands raised. So each day we have whereby we give them these presentations and these little workshops with students and teachers themselves, and then we have them participating in terms of us getting the acquired knowledge that we need them to get. We would ask them questions back in return, and if they get it right, they earn themselves a prize.
What do you hope to achieve out of this week?
The fact that children can get a better understanding of the importance of the brain.
As an update to the story aired earlier in the newscast, police have formally arrested and charged 35-year-old Belizean farmer Dan Lopez with the crimes of attempted murder, use of deadly means of harm, and grievous harm for the shooting of Sergeant Dallon Kelly. In early January, amendments were made to the controlled price regulations for both brown and plantation white sugar. It's the first increase in price for sugar since 2001, so many consumers are experiencing sticker shock. CEO Servila Baiza broke down those prices for us and explained what the new adjustment should reflect.
We had a control price for brown sugar and plantation white, a retail control price. That's all we had. So the retail price for brown sugar was 39 cents, and the retail price for plantation white was 75 cents. That's all the SI had, and that's all the control that we had. That price for brown sugar at 39 cents was set from 2001. So that's like 25 years ago. Plantation white, that 75 cents was set in 2016. So that's about 9 years ago. 10 years ago, sorry, 10 years ago. So those so you can see, I mean, especially for the brown, I mean, from 25 years ago, that was the price. And that was the one that was mostly where the mill was saying that, that was way below the cost of production. And so the claim was that the plantation white was actually subsidizing the production of the brown sugar. That the price for the plantation white was actually subsidizing the price for the brown sugar. So after extensive back and forth to the mill, we came up with the new supply control regulations, which is the one that was passed right now was gazetted the 17th of January 2026. And we did quite a few changes. In terms of the whole regulations, we set a maximum price now for the mill. So at what price the mill sells. If you go by pound, it will be 70 cents now for brown sugar. The 25 kilogram sack is 38.50, and the maximum retail price is $77 for the 50 kilogram. So the mill now also has a control price of how the price which wasn't there before.
Biza also discussed the current status of screwworm infestation in Belize. He says that soon they will be moving into an extradition eradication phase, that is. He says it's part of a greater effort to prevent the screwworm from further spreading north to the U.S. He explained what our status is currently.
So it is endemic now. So right now we are in a management phase. It's no longer an emergency, basically, because we have it all over, and we're waiting for hopefully in the near future we start into the eradication phase, where we work along with ORISA and USDA, which were the ones who basically funded the eradication of screwworm back in the 80s and 90s. No? Screwworm was eradicated the last time in 1994, I believe. That's when screwworm was eradicated from Belize. So right now, screwworm has reached almost, I think, the middle of Mexico, basically, and that's where they're trying to control it from going more northward. Certainly, the Americans are trying to make sure that it doesn't reach their border. So all efforts right now are in trying to control it there in Mexico. So all efforts in terms of the release of sterile flies is being done in Mexico right now to try to control it there.
And that's all we have for you for our newscast tonight. Thanks for watching with your news. I'm Indra Craig. Remember, you can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook page. Have a great night. Join me back here tomorrow at 6.